Hey friends, welcome back to Stappystamper. My name is Terry Stapp, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Central Texas. And we are 1 week away from Christmas. Yay. Well, technically, I guess 1 week away from Christmas Eve since this is December 17th. But I hope that you have all of your Christmas cards done by now. If not, I wanted to give you a quick idea for some ways that you could use up some of your scraps. So I have everything set out that we're going to need today. I'm using Secret C. I have a piece of Secret C, the card base, that is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Then I have another piece of Secret C that is 4 5/8 by 3 3/8. And I used some of that gold foil ribbon. I just tied it around the back side. And I didn't do a bow. It makes it a little bit more bulky with a bow. So I just tied it in a knot over to the side. For basic white, I have 2 pieces of 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 and 1 piece of 4.5 by 3 1/4. So one of the pieces of basic white I ran through an embossing folder. The other piece of basic white that is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, I went ahead and I put my 1/2 inch strip of Secret C and my 3/8 inch strip of designer series paper. And then I have my piece here that is 4.5 by 3 1/4. I also have a bunch of words. I did the Christmas words hybrid embossing folder. So I still have a bunch of words left over. I just went through and picked out one of my words. I picked out peace for this particular card. And then I had all of this paper left over, so I just took my 1 1/4 inch circle punch and punched out a bunch of circles. And then I took a 1 3/8 circle punch and punched out circles in gold. So for this card, you're going to need 4 gold circles and 4 circles in DSP. Okay, I'm going to leave this here for a minute, give you a chance to gather your supplies. I will pop up a slide in just a second. You can push pause and everything will be organized there for you as well. When you are ready, push play and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, I went ahead and pulled my piece of basic white that I told you was 4.5 by 3 1/4. I have my word that I picked, and then I have my 4 circles. I matted the DSP on top of the gold circles. I have a fine tip marker, and then I have a ruler. So we're going to start with the front of the card. Once the front of the card is done, everything comes together really quickly. I'm going to put my word down just as a kind of a placeholder, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to pick 3 of my circles that I want on the front of my card. I think I'm going to take this one out and use that one for the inside. Now I'm going to look at my circles, and I kind of want to place them on my card and just get an idea of where they might fit. These are actually going to be little ornaments. So I like this layout. I'm going to go ahead and pick up, my glue is, there we go. Pick up an ornament, put some liquid glue on the back, and stick it down on my paper. Right about there. And then I'm going to put one right. Nope, that's too far. Okay, that will work. I'm going to move my word off to the side really quick, and I'm just going to make some little dots where the center-ish is. Okay. Now, with my ruler, I'm going to line up. We're going to draw the strings now. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up the bottom of my card with one of the lines on my glass mat. And now I'm going to line up my ruler long ways. Okay, it's not in line with the line, but there's about the same distance between this line right here, and the ruler on the top and the bottom. And so I'm just going to connect it and draw my line. And then I'm going to come right over here. Come on, card. Okay, I'm going to check the bottom of my card, of the sheet, not my card, of the sheet. Make sure that it is straight. And draw that line. And then check the bottom of my card. And draw that line. Now I tried to avoid this, but it's not always avoidable. If you get to the point where you can't just draw it straight up because there's an ornament there, there's no big deal. You're just going to put it back down and pick it back up where it goes. Okay. I'm going to move this aside real quick. Now that I have my ruler out, I'm going to go ahead and do the inside of my card. So this is the one that is left over. And I think I want it going like that. And I'm just going to plop it right there. Put the pin back in my glue so it doesn't dry out. Ooh, it's already starting to get a little sticky down in there. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to mark the center-ish. Line it up, make sure my card is straight, and just draw the line. Now, if you don't get it exactly right, exactly straight, that's fine, because I have my little dot right here. But you know what? All we're going to do is, I'm actually going to turn it upside down. We're going to make the little hanger there, and we're just going to draw that in. Just like that. And then I'm going to give it a little bow. And nobody will ever know that I didn't get it exactly on the dot. So shh, don't tell anybody. Okay. We're going to do the same thing right here. I'm going to turn it upside down. And I'm going to draw in the little ornament toppers. I don't really know what those things are called. They're the little things that the hook hangs onto. Just that little metal piece on the top of your ornament. So, drawing just a rectangle. And then on this one, and then we're going to put our little bows on the top of these. We're going to go right here, and right here. Okay, easy peasy. Let's go ahead and get out some more pieces. I'm going to get my glue, and we're going to mat this white piece on top of my piece of Secret Sea. Now, depending on how you feel about mailing cards, you can use dimensionals on this piece and on this piece. When you put the Secret Sea on top of the embossed piece, you can use glue and glue this down flat, and then use dimensionals. You can glue everything down. You can glue this down and use dimensionals on here. I'm going to use dimensionals to put my white piece on top of my Secret C, just because I've made a few of these cards, and I found that it works a little bit better with the ribbon to put the dimensionals here to here, and then I can glue the other piece down on the embossed piece, and that seems to work pretty well. We are going to use more dimensionals for our word, so just kind of keep that in mind when you're making decisions about how thick you want your cards to be. Okay, I have my dimensionals peeled, and I'm going to put my piece of basic white and mat it on top of my piece of Secret C, leaving a border around all four sides. All right, next is going to be some glue. I am going to switch to my green glue. It's another type of liquid glue. And I'm going to put some of that on the back. I'm just going to squish some here. Be careful not to put my fingers down in it. Squish some there. And then this is going to go on top of this piece of embossed basic white. I want that same border around all four sides. I'm going to give it a press down from the back. And while I have my liquid glue out, I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back of this one. And then we'll put this on our card front. Like this. Got to make sure it's going to open. Yep, opens the right way. Y'all know by now I am right-handed, so I prefer to do this kind of work upside down. So I'm going to turn everything upside down so I can see the edges I'm working with and get it on there nice and straight. Got a little bit of glue on my finger. Okay, we have that. We need to put our word here. So I'm going to get, I think mini dimensionals are going to work best for my word. I'm going to get some mini dimensionals. And let's put the word at the bottom of my card. Just like that. Is that straight? I think that's straight. Okay. Now we're ready for the inside. This inside is super simple. All we're going to do is take the piece that we put the single ornament on. We're going to open up our card and we're going to use, I just grabbed my seal. Doesn't matter, you can use liquid glue too. And I'm going to put some seal on the back of this. This is upside down. This is upside down, so it's going to go right here. Looks great. Flip it around, and you have a lovely card that may be last minute. Perhaps you had a friend that mailed you a card and you didn't mail them their card. So you could pull this together. You have scraps. Cut those circles, use your Christmas words pieces, and make a little card and stick it in the mail real fast, and no one will ever know. I will not tell your secret. All right, friends, one more week until Christmas Eve. There will be another video on Christmas Eve. and we will be making a last minute gift bag. So stay tuned. I'll see you in a week. And until then, Stappy stamping.